So now we'll take the punch. We'll go up to the top part where the subscapularis attaches, and we'll make sure there's the articular edge. We want to make sure here's our anchor down at this point, the first anchor, excuse me, and then we'll get this in a good spot up higher. This is good hard bone again, so we will once again take a tap to make sure that this goes in correctly. Externally rotate the arm slightly as we change positions. We've got to be careful about that. And then we'll be ready with our anchor to go in right away. And this anchor has a knot at the end of it, so it's very important that you find the hole that it belongs in and you get it started. You don't just try to push it in. You've got to make sure you're lined up correctly, and then it will advance in very nicely. And again, we'll go down to the laser line. We get the squeaky sound of good fixation in the bone, and we'll take our sutures off the inserter and be ready to pass these stitches to finalize our suture management for this subscapularis repair. So we'll go ahead and take these sutures out of the cannula so we can work with one at a time. Take a crochet hook. We started with the white, and we'll do the same thing so that we don't get confused and we have a good separation of our sutures. Again, the upper rolled edge is right there. That's going to be our final stitch pass. So this white one's going to give us a nice solid security just above the sutures we just put in, and then the last suture will go over the top to hold everything in place. Pass this through, and we'll grab our wire loop with a suture grabbing device known as the Kingfisher. You see what the tips look like here. It's got an open place for things to slide, but it's also got the grabbing tip, so we can grab our wire loop and pull that straight out, and then our assistant can pass that through the loop. There's another way to do this, and technically a very straightforward way to pass the sutures. Sometimes all we need to do, if this is coming over really nicely, is just take one limb of this final suture, because the other limb can be tied over the top of the upper rolled edge. Make sure we get that upper rolled edge nicely attached, and we'll take that Kingfisher again and then pass our suture through. Okay, so what we can do is we can pull on this limb and see how that looks in terms of our upper rolled edge repair site. And this is coming over nicely, and then if the suture will come over the top, sometimes we don't need to pass it, but I'd like to really make sure this is secure, so we'll go ahead and pass that last stitch just through the upper edge to make sure it holds on securely, and then we'll start tying. And we can assist ourselves in reducing this by internally rotating the arm a little bit and just raising up on the elbow, which is an advantage of the beach chair position. We don't have to worry about over-tensioning this because we're doing an anatomic repair, so there's no need to try to stretch this over to the repair site. We want to go ahead and get this down and solid. So we'll take a crochet hook. And our accessory portal can be our helpful suture management portal, and we'll grab our last two stitches that we had, the two blue ones. And again, they're separated out from the other blue ones, so we have a pretty good idea where they're at. And then typically I will just use multiple alternating half hitches to repair this. And so this is the upper part here, and you can see it comes right down into the place that we prepared. We're going to tie our knot down to that, so we'll just do a half hitch in one direction and pass it through our knot pusher. You can certainly use a sliding knot if your sutures are sliding, and we'll slide on down and repair that into place. And just to try to get a little bit better view, we'll kind of come medially and look over laterally. So our knot is down in this area right here. So another half hitch in the exact same direction. And now a half hitch on the same post but in the opposite direction. And this should give enough friction to hold our knot in a good position. And before we go ahead and switch to a different post, I'm just going to check and make sure it's laying down on the tissue well, and you can see that it is. So I just need to secure this. So again, I've got those 3 half hitches, and now I can switch posts. And once I switch posts, I'm going to lock my knot, and so we have to accept the amount of compression that we have at the knot at this time. So this comes down, and that's it. And then just to secure this knot so it doesn't go anywhere, we'll put another half hitch over the top or in the opposite direction. And this knot has gone by a lot of different names, the Revo knot, the multiple alternating half hitch knot, and it works very securely. In fact, the knot slippage point is essentially very close to the strength of the suture, which is the ideal situation. So the suture either has to break or close to breaking before the knot even slides. Because this is fiber wire, which has special strength properties, we have to use a special knot cutter, which is a fiber wire knot cutter. And we'll just slide on down here to make sure we're in a good spot. And that will make a nice sharp cut to the end of our sutures and cut at the tags at the length that we want. Now, what we're going to do is we did the top one first because we really wanted to secure that subscapularis at its highest level, just like we would do with open surgery, classic open surgery. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our next set of sutures, the white ones, and tie these. And this will help bring this over. And we do run out of space a little bit, and one of the ways we can help ourselves is just by forward flexing the arm and then looking out essentially over the top of the repair so that we can see that a little bit better. So once we've passed all our sutures and tied, we'll take the arm here and put it down by the side, and then we'll look at what our repair is. And here's the arm with the ability to externally rotate well beyond 40 degrees, but we see how that upper rolled edge is pulled down into place and nice and secure over the prepared bony bed. We have medialized it slightly, about 5 millimeters from its normal attachment, which is not a problem, but again, we have nice secure fixation all the way up and down. You can see how the middle glenohumeral ligament, which is in there, is not constricting us. The upper rolled edge has been reestablished, and so that's our arthroscopic subscapularis repair.